welcome back to Don't Repeat What Mommy Says,
But read what mommy wrote.
but read what Mommy wrote. So today, and actually I'm going to rename this meeting while we're at it, um, we are talking all things Motherhood's a Bloodsport, the novel.
The novel. It was a
So,
long time in the making.
yes, do you want to talk about that a little?
Yeah, so I thought of the original concept before Lauren was even a thought. So I've been married 29 years. It was about 30 years that I started thinking about the novel. Um, and then I kind of abandoned it because, kids and busy and, life or whatever. Got divorced, got remarried. I had a kid that had a catastrophic illness. We've talked about that on the show. I had another child. We were like, to say that we were broke would be really generous. So we were busting our hump and all of that kind of stuff. So the book kind of went to the wayside. And then I don't know how many years after that I started thinking of a different book. Still never did anything with that. I think I started writing them, have no idea where I put them. But I remember because it was a passion project that I never really got going on. And to be fair, I think I'm a pretty good writer, but I have a really hard time organizing my thoughts, right?
Yeah,
Like,
a little
it's
bit.
not like how some people get writer's block. I get writer's vomit. Like, there's too many ideas, too much going on. It's too much. So I actually, so anyway, then of course my kids grew up. I became a grandma, all of that nonsense, and then not nonsense, it's my life. But anyway, then I started kind of doing things that I like doing again. I think I started with floral arranging. I happened to what is with my hair? So we're in Wyoming. It's really windy, and my hair is
It's
just a hot mess. I am so sorry. But I
it's
always think
awful.
I think I look cute, and then I get on here and I don't. So I guess that's what I like. I
The
think in my
camera,
head
it's the
I
camera.
no, I think in my head I look a lot different than what I actually look like. But well, that was a weird detour. Sorry. See, that's why I needed. So I brought so then I used to do the show with Michelle, and she and I were friends for a really long time, but we don't work well together. Totally different styles and whatnot. So we tried the book together, and that was a train wreck. So I took my concept back, and I employed my daughter, who I am in business with now, and she helped me bring it to life and added so much more. So the book was two completely different books, kind of melded into one book. By the time 30 years passed, and we actually put it on paper for you to read
Yes.
and
So,
hopefully
and
love.
if you haven't seen it yet, the covers you will get will not come with the exclusive coffee stain. That was courtesy of my toddler. Um, but this is the cover. It should look roughly the same. This is actually an older version. The version that's out now is updated a little bit. We had some mistakes in the earlier version that we had to
We self
correct.
edited, so
We self-edited, but to be fair, my
we
my
did well.
grandmother, her mom, was an English teacher, right?
Mhm.
She was an English teacher? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think she did science too. Like she taught at a
Yeah.
private school, so she did a couple things. Yeah.
She also edited our book.
Well, it
Okay.
was only a couple things.
It was only a couple things.
And,
We
and
had
to
like
be fair, I've read a lot of books in my life, and those were all professionally edited, and you can still catch a mistake here and there. So it wasn't that bad.
and the mistakes were small. Like I think the one I noticed was like we were missing an S at the end of a word that I think most people would have skipped anyway because we skipped it several times.
We did, because
Um, one was a period at the end of Mister that was abbreviated like MR period. We forgot
right,
the period.
right.
And then there was one that was actually not missed in editing. It was a biff that I made when we uploaded the book where we had an extra page. So none of that's in there now. There's no extra blank page right smack dab in the middle of the book. To be fair, it was like a well placed missed page. I don't know how well you can see that, but
But if you're lucky enough to have these early copies with the mistakes and all, you can use that blank page to make notes about what you think.
yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, you can read the description of our book if you go look it up on Amazon. It's Motherhood's a Bloodsport. Um, but it's a story about a mom who will really go to any lengths to protect her children.
Yes.
And I mean, that's pretty much the short and sweet of it. It is considered a psychological thriller, so
Yes.
there's, I feel like, some nuggets throughout the story that, might seem weird until you get to the end, when it all sort of comes together, which is what a psychological thriller does.
Does. Yeah.
I feel like I'm like explaining something that
Yeah,
I
and
think most
I
people might
think
get.
I think the people who are going to read the book and the people who watch this are smart enough to know that we don't really need to
I
explain it to them.
I would think
Although,
so.
so you want to tell, like, here's a funny thing about making the book because it was a kind of a whole family affair. So I sent the first chapter to Uncle Daniel, right? And speaking of thinking the reader should be smart, well, my brother. My brother and I are both very smart people, but growing up, he was always considered the smart one. Um, I don't know if it's because he is a boy or because he's older or because he actually is. He is really smart. Like, to be fair, he's a very smart guy. But so he gave me feedback on the book or on the chapter that I sent to him, and he's like, "Well, I thought that this was going on." It didn't. I go, "It was a flashback, dude." And he was like, "Well, you need to have something to denote that it's a flashback." And at the time, we were originally going to do the flashbacks in red. So it was in red where he read it. And I was like, well, I was thinking that the readers weren't going to be complete dolts and could get the fact that it was a goddamn flashback. So I was like super salty when he was just trying to give me
Feedback,
what do you call it? Constructive
constructive
criticism.
criticism.
And then after I read it, after he made his comments, I kind of saw what he was talking about, so I did change it. But I called Lauren and I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to have to change this. And she's like, what? Screw him. He's a moron. No, she didn't say that, but she was mad about the changes because we loved the first chapter and we felt that it was perfect, but we did actually improve it. So after I made the changes, she's like, oh, it didn't make it bad. It made it better. I'm like, yeah, yeah. I was worried about it too.
Yeah. So as far as the flashbacks go, you'll notice in the print copies, and you can't see it because my light just washes everything out. There is a different font, so when the font changes from the main font to the other one, which is the text is a little bit lighter in color, but it's still black and white, black and gray. Those are the flashbacks. We, I think, set them up pretty well, so it should be easy to follow. But in the ebook version, which I need to get that manuscript updated, I forgot to do that while I was there. Um, while she's distracted. In the ebook version, the flashbacks are actually going to be in the same font, unfortunately, because of limitations with the Kindle uploading, so that we could make it compliant for their audiobook setup, which should be coming. We might use their audiobook thing. We might not use their audiobook thing. We're going to see how terrible it is first.
We
But because of that, the flashbacks in the ebook will be in red.
and we toyed with doing the ebook, or I'm sorry, the audiobook, us narrating it, but oh, man, I don't know.
I stumble over my words a lot when I'm trying to read things. I have joked that it's like dyslexia or something, but I don't think I actually have dyslexia.
What the
But
F?
I don't.
Is this like the struggle of all moms? Like we all have a doinky hair right here that like never grows.
I mean, look at mine sticks straight up.
Ridiculous. Like, oh my God.
Um, so hopefully we'll have an audiobook coming. We just haven't decided how we're going about that. But I know moms are busy. Our marketing team actually suggested doing an audiobook, and I was like, I agree. But the price they wanted was not
Out
reasonable.
friggin' rageous. And here's the thing.
Outrageous.
Here's the thing. Like we really tried to make the book affordable. because
Yes.
our target audience obviously is moms. Any woman would appreciate it. I really feel like there are men that would appreciate it, but they're never going to read it because the main character, the protagonist, is
It's
a woman.
very chicky. Yeah.
uh
Even the cover like looks very girly in
yeah,
like a brutal way, but like it's flowers and a pretty face.
right. And that's my face, by the way.
Yes,
Kind of
kind
it's an
of.
AI
It's a
generated, very
filter.
idealized version of my face because I didn't want to get sued, so we used my image.
It's her face, but it's through a filter. Like
Yeah,
a
I
Facebook filter
I
thing.
looked more similar to that when I was 20.
I
But
was gonna say it looks like the pictures I've seen of you when you were younger.
yes, I did look, I mean, still idealized though, because I mean, she's almost perfect, like perfect symmetry and all of that. But,
Oh yeah.
and I'm not that. But so anyway, um, love that for me, but it makes me feel a little bad about myself too, because I'm like, oh, look, I was pretty in the book, but
Right, you see
I'm
yourself on
just,
the cover and you're like, and then there's me. No.
no. But anyway, no, so. Let's talk about. I know that a lot of moms and women and whatnot are into smut books. There isn't smut in the book. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I
No,
cannot do it.
there
There is
for
a love
one,
story.
for one, we're not smut writers. We're not going to do that. It wouldn't be good smut if we wrote it. So,
No,
for
no.
two, super weird to try and write smut with your mother. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and I don't
Just not.
personally, I don't like reading smut books, to be honest with you. Now, I will read some books that have smut in it if the smut is
Pertinent to the
integral
story.
to the story. Like I do like the Outlander series. I think she's a really great writer. It is her books are considered romance, which I wouldn't typically ever pick up a romance novel. It's not my jam. But and she does have some pretty graphic sex crap in it, but it's always pretty pertinent to the story, and it's not like a ton of it. So I can stomach that, but I can't write. Like, dude, let me tell you what. I know that men in general like to hear dirty talk, and my husband would probably like that too, but I'm like, what? No. Like, laundry. It's filthy. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Um, if you are looking for a smut book that I think you'll probably like, that
Yes.
is supporting another independent author. I actually offered to be a beta reader for her.
Yes.
It's on Amazon. It's Forever Hellfire Rising by Harper Reed. So if you are looking to support another independent author, you should go check her book out because the story was actually really good. And I'm not into smut books, but I mean it's a romance.
Right.
It's
She's
dark romance, but
she's got she's got a lot of sex in that.
there's a lot of sex in
There's a
it.
lot of sex
But
in that.
so
So
if
if
you
you're
want
looking for
something
a lot of
raunchy,
sex, yeah, get that because she probably talks dirty to somebody.
yeah, but she's Australian, so I'm like reading this and she's using the Australian spelling, and some of it I'm used to, but then she had the word curb in the book and I thought it was a typo. So I messaged her. I was like, "Is this a typo or is this how you actually spell this in Australia?" Nope, it is how they actually spell the word curb in Australia, which was just funny to me because they spell it Kerb instead of
Oh,
Curb.
oh, okay. I
And it
didn't know
just
that.
like threw me for such a loop as I was reading it. So she is Australian, so if you read that, um,
Yeah, I think
little plug for her.
yeah, for sure. If you're looking for that, like if you're really just looking for a smut book, our book isn't going to be the book. If you are looking for um slice of life, if you are looking for a psychological thriller, and you do not often see main characters who are strong, female roles who are moms. And I don't know why, because I think moms are the strongest people on earth.
I feel like, yeah, a lot of what you see of moms, they get written in sort of like a waif-like manner,
Yeah, that or Pollyanna, like really, oh.
or it's overdone. They're the invincible superwoman.
Mm,
So, one of the things we try to do with this book a lot is the characters, we hope to you, because they feel this way to us, feel really real. Nobody's invincible, nobody's perfect. They are all flawed individuals
mm,
trying to work through life
The thing
and
about
all the curveballs.
the thing about Norma is Norma
Norma's
was
the
a
main character.
yes, and
I don't know if we said that.
uh, yeah, it's Norma. It's Norma Dane.
Norma Francesca Dane.
Norma motherfucking Francesca Dane.
Yes.
um, but Norma very much was a hot mess until she had a child. Like her life was
Yes.
a mess. Norma definitely is. I don't want to say she's not a victim of anything. Norma is not a victim, but Norma does have a lot of trauma in her life. Some of it of her own making before she has a child. And once she has a child, she kind of comes into her own and finds her purpose for living. And her purpose for living is to keep this child safe and to keep the evils of the world away from this child because she doesn't want her child to have to suffer the traumas that she did.
So, and the whole Dane family, their like nuclear family, that is based on us. So, as
And
you're
we're
reading it,
weird, just so you know. We
we're
are a
weird.
strange family.
So you might think to yourself, "Oh my God, people like this don't really exist." I'm sorry, we do.
We do.
We do exist. That being said, there are some characters that are based on real people, and
And
there are
there's
some
some
that
that,
aren't.
yeah, some
And the
are
ones
just
that are
figment.
based on real people are obviously polished
Uh,
up and
well, I mean, they're it's a fictional book, so of course we take personalities from when I don't know about other writers, but I'm guessing that whatever you write, there is some inspiration from your experiences from real life, something you read, something somewhere gave you the inspiration.
so
Um,
as you're reading the book, if you want to play the game of like who's based on a real person and who's not, could be fun. Because I think some of the ones people have assumed so far that were based on real people were not, and some were, so
yeah,
that's a fun game. And we have like a weird method, so I don't know how other authors do this, but there's a ton of characters.
there's so many characters.
There are so many characters, so we had to find a way to keep them straight. Because, I mean, we were forgetting all kinds of things, like last names and having to go back and reread. So I made a super basic flowchart. I'm going to show you guys because it's funny the way that we label our characters. Um, but it's,
And thank God for Lauren, because you know I'm not that organized. There would be no flowchart if I did this myself.
no. Um, So this is just like a quick rundown. These are all the characters. This is a little sneak peek. It's actually going to be a 5-part series. So those are the
You mean a 5 book
10,
series? That's
five
no,
book
no,
series.
nobody picked it up to make it a movie yet.
Yeah, 5 book series. So these are the future titles that'll be coming. So you get a little sneak peek there if you watch this. Um, but so we have like the basic Dane family. That's going to be Norma Francesca Dane, Eric Justin Dane. I don't know why we gave them all middle names because we barely use them, but they have middle names.
We might use them in the future.
Yeah. We have Dominica Rose Dane, Erica Josephine Dane, and Josephine as Erica's middle name was just to spite my husband because he wouldn't let me use Josephine as a middle name for our child.
Which is a family
Um,
name.
it is a family
On
name.
my side of the family.
So let's see, other characters to run down. We have Eric's BFF Jude, Sherry, Jude's wife, Jake Ryan, which is Jude and Sherry's son. I don't know why we called him Jake Ryan, but that's
Dude,
what
I
we
didn't
did.
even know he had a middle name.
I didn't know he had a middle name, but apparently we gave him one.
I guess we'll use that in one of the books. I
We've
had no
got,
idea Jake's got a middle name. Jake Ryan's kind of a sweet name.
it is a sweet name. I think it was in a show or something, but whatever. We called him Jake Ryan. I don't know why. Well, and Eric Dane too. It didn't
He's
occur
an
to me.
actor, apparently.
Yeah, I watched Grey's Anatomy, and when we started writing this and we decided their last name would be Dane and her husband would be Eric, it never even clicked that it was Eric Dane until I saw an interview with Eric Dane after the book was published.
Well, and we got Justin in the middle because Aaliyah's name is Aaliyah Justice.
Yes. So we got Karen the Karen. She's the nosy neighbor.
And did we ever
Her.
give them last names?
I don't think we did.
That's weird.
That might come later. We'll see. Seth and Roger are Karen's sons. We have Tom, or Thomas Melbourne, which is Norma's ex-husband. dirtbag
Dirtbag
ex-husband.
ex-husband.
We have Tony, Anthony Gamble, who is the dirtbag drug dealer friend of dirtbag ex-husband.
Yes.
We have Lowell, Karen's ex-husband. We have Mrs. Katarina Smith, the elementary school principal. There's
She
so
is
many
actually
things.
based on an elementary school
Like
principal.
the best elementary school principal ever.
Like, we
I
love her so
love
much.
her.
And I
Love her
hope
so.
she reads the book and loves it.
I hope so. And I hope she likes how we portrayed her character.
We actually portrayed her character from real life events, sort of.
Sort of.
There was conversations that Norma has that I had with the person we based them on, but changed a bit to fit the story.
You know who's not on this list now that I'm looking through it? We don't have
Sneed.
Norma's brother on the
He's
character
not really
list.
that. He's not really that.
He's not really that pertinent. I think his name was Frank.
His name was Frank, but I'm not really sure if Frank's gonna make another
Uh,
appearance.
yeah, so Norma's brother doesn't make the list of characters,
Yeah, he
apparently.
doesn't make the list of characters, but it's Frank. It's Frank and Norma.
Frank and Norma. Then there's Trent, who's just another bus driver. Norma's a bus driver through a big part of the book. Simon, who is Norma's gay BFF bus driver friend.
And
George
him
is,
being gay is important because he has a husband, George.
yes, his husband, George. And they're important to the story. Like, Simon and George are fabulous, and we love them to death.
And I actually did base them on
Real
two
people.
gentlemen that I know. Yeah.
So
That
don't
I
come for us telling that we wrote them too gay, because they're based on real people.
No, they're based on real people, and they're both people that I love very much. Like, I really miss them because we moved to Wyoming and they moved. So they originally moved to a different state, and now they moved again. But
Oh.
I still talk to the one. I mean, I don't talk to his husband as much just because I was like friends with I was coworkers with the one, but I hung out with his husband too. Like, all of us hung out together, whatever. But they are based on real people, and I wrote them very true to their personalities.
Yeah, and so our notes on here are not indicative of the character's whole personality. This was just how we kept them straight. There are like huge character arcs going on here. So I have Sammy listed as a dickhead
Dickhead.
kid.
Well, yeah, Sammy's a
He's
dickhead
a
kid.
dickhead kid
He's
through
a
a lot of
dickhead
the
kid.
book. He grows. He grows. Trust
Why are
me.
you saying that? They don't need to know he grows. Just say they
He
didn't read the book
grows.
yet.
There's
Well,
dickhead
yes,
kid
Sammy's
Sammy.
a larger dickhead later.
So we have dickhead kid Sammy. We have shy girl Alice. We have dickhead kid's dickhead friend Hector.
I don't know that I really made him a dickhead.
I don't think you did.
Because
Hector's
I
actually
love
not a
Hector.
dickhead
He's not really a
character.
dickhead. He's kind of just there.
He's kind of just there, but I don't know. I needed a way to keep them straight in
I
my
think you
head.
were just being silly at that point.
I think I was, to be fair. So then we have Mrs. Bailey, or Ms. Bailey, sorry. She's the guidance counselor at the middle school. So if you aren't catching the theme yet, a lot of this like events happen within the school, which is why there's so much school staff.
Right,
Because Norma's a bus driver and she has school-age children
right.
through the bulk of the story. So a
Not
lot's
really,
gonna
not
happen.
the bulk of the story. That's like in the second half of the book. The first half of the book, the kids are little.
Yeah, but we have stuff with them in the elementary school towards the end of the
Oh,
first
that's true,
half.
we do, but she wasn't a bus driver then.
Yeah. So then we have Mrs. Vole, the bitch-faced dean.
And she is a bitch face.
She is a bitch face. We have Jamie, who's just listed as Rachel's friend. Rachel,
Right.
who's just listed as Hector's sister. Josh, who's Alice's brother. And Gemma, the therapist dumb twat.
Yes.
Because just read the book, you'll understand. Maybe you won't understand because
They're not going to
Gemma's
understand Gemma because Gemma doesn't really. Gemma ends up in the book at the end of Motherhood's a Bloodsport, but she doesn't really have a role until book two, which we're working on Gemma right now.
yes. So fun things to know there.
And
What else do you
Gemma
want to
is
talk
not
about?
based on anybody.
Gemma's not based on anybody, so don't get your
So
knickers in a twist over
I'm
it.
giving you that. I'm going to give you that one if you're playing the game. Who's based on is somebody based on a real person or not. No, Gemma wasn't based on anybody. I really didn't even plan on making Gemma what she's turning into. It just kind of evolved that way.
Yeah, some of these characters, we started out with them in one way, and the characters have taken on lives of their own.
Yes.
So you will definitely see some evolution there that we didn't know that was going to happen either.
No, you know what?
So
I have got to get my purple robe. It is so friggin' cold in here.
it is. Your room was freezing
It's
today.
freezing. Well, it's because the wind is so bad.
So while you do that, I'm going to talk
I
about
gotta
our
get
bookmark.
I gotta get the robe. Okay.
So while she's busy, we are going to do a limited release of some Motherhoods of Bloodsport bookmarks. We're starting with, I want to say there's going to be 100 total, but we're actually going to use two for giveaways. Um, so you will be able to purchase these through our store, which I don't have our store quite published live yet. But this is the front part of the Motherhoods of Bloodsport bookmark. It says Motherhoods of Bloodsport. It's got these little frilly doodads. This circle here is actually where we're going to hole punch it because we're putting dark gray tassels on the bookmarks. They'll be very pretty. And then the back of the bookmark was just some words we thought of that we felt described motherhood. So this will be available for purchase, $3.50. I'll have our store link up for that once they're available. They're not available yet. So follow our Facebook or our Instagram if you want to snag a bookmark when they are available, because again, the supply is going to be limited. But
Unless it ends up being a really popular item, but then you'll probably have to wait for them.
yeah, because we do have to actually like order these from Canva. We have to put the tassels on them. We have to make them, and then we have to ship them.
So, which, by the way, I don't know what it was like for you to work with me on this business. You can talk about that later. But for me, we're very proud of the cover of the book. Very, very, very proud of the cover of the book. And we have actually designed the covers for all five of these books. Um, I have, like I said, a cacophony of ideas in my head. Like I apparently am a pretty creative person. I didn't know that about myself until so it's a good thing I wrote this now and not 30 years ago, honestly. But I have all these great ideas. I do not know how to bring them to life. So I tell Lauren like, "Oh, what if we do this or this?" And she makes it happen. Like is she can almost like read my mind, like what I'm thinking, like what I'm visualizing, and she puts it on paper. So working with her has been awesome. Not to mention she understands like where I want to go with the characters and stuff like that. And when she adds stuff to it, it just vibes. Like it just vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think our writing process might be a little bit weird. It really started, you wrote the bulk of the first few chapters, I want to say. So basically, she would write it like pen and paper at work in a notebook, writing the story down. And I would get a paper stack to then,
Show him my writing because it's so bad.
if you can,
Yeah, kind of like, yeah, look at that.
it's upside
Look
down,
at
but
that
like
mess. This is
chicken
what she
scratch.
had to, this is what she had to work with. Thank God she knows me.
So, yeah, so I'm going through this and going, okay, well, as I'm typing it out, I'm doing some like minor editing, like cleaning up some of the repetition of stuff because it's a first draft. First drafts have weird stuff where like you don't realize you used the same word like 14 times on a page or something. So
And
I'm
sometimes
cleaning
I
up
give up
repetition.
trying to make it flow. Sometimes I'm like, fuck it, she can figure that out.
Well, and like, so we're starting to work on book two. She gave up on like Norma said with a sigh. Instead of that, it was just like Norma, da 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 da, Gemma, da 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 da, Sammy, da 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 da, and just like names with little like semi or colons beside them, and then just whatever they said. So like a lot of what I did with the first few chapters was just that, just typing out what she had done and cleaning it up and making it flow better. I added some things here or there, like, oh, I think this would go really well in this scene. And then there were some chapters that I wrote completely by myself, and then we'd have phone calls to read the chapters back and forth to each other. And then we had a lot of chapters towards the end, I want to say more so,
that we wrote
that we
together.
wrote together. So we actually sat down together at the computer and talked it through as I typed it out. And we've actually got some behind the scenes video of that for book two that you'll have to stay tuned for, of us actually like here in our recording software recording us going through this process. So I'm gonna have to comb through that and make sure there's no spoilers or anything. But
Right.
there's some funny bits from our writing process because I feel like our process is a little bit weird. And I've always wondered, like, 'cause I've seen co-authored books, like how do you co-author a book? And I don't know if other people who've co-authored novels do it the way we do it, but this is what works for us.
Well, the thing is, like, I do write the bulk of stuff, I guess. Mostly because I have more time, because Lauren's got the littles hanging off of her, like, literally constantly. But
Literally
Lauren,
constantly.
yeah, constantly. But Lauren and I spend a lot of time on the phone, like, hashing it out before I put it to paper. So it is a collaboration. It's not just like I write everything and she edits my shit. I mean,
There is a collaborative effort, and we really like work together in terms of the sequence of events and how the events like mesh together. And definitely I think the first book was a lot more disorganized because we had a lot of ideas and we didn't really have them put together yet.
I feel like the
um
first book was easier because this second book is rough. Like
yeah we're
I wrote what, like 4 or 5 chapters in a day before with the first book, and with this one, it can take me 2 weeks to write one chapter.
yeah, the second book's taking us a little bit longer, mainly because we know the end.
Yeah,
We know the end so well. We're so ready to write the end. It's
mm,
everything else
it's getting
before
there.
the end. It's
Well,
getting there. It's that transition.
and the first book, honestly, was somewhat autobiographical.
Right.
It's not an autobiography by any means, but it does have, like, Norma mirrors things that happened in my life. Okay, albeit way more fantastically than what actually happened in real life. So that was pretty easy to write. But now we're at a point where this is complete fiction. None of this happened.
Yeah, none
Even
of this.
none of this even mirrored like
Yeah.
something. So it's a little harder, I guess, because I had
It
some stuff to pull on in the first book that I don't. And so did you.
so did I. So with book 1, um what would you say was the hardest part of book 1 to write? Like you don't have to give details of like that would be like spoilers, but
Probably the part where Norma's torn between giving her how do I say this? Empowering her daughter to do something that's completely against her daughter's nature so that her daughter can protect herself. And it was like a bullying situation. Uh, like she was very torn between teaching her daughter to physically defend herself or keep her daughter sweet and kind as she was. Like
yeah.
she really wrestles with that because she wants her daughter to be empowered. She wants her daughter to. She knows what it's going to take for her daughter to make the situation stop because it's another kid, so Norma can't go kick the kid's ass, Like, and
Right.
I think every mom who's ever had a child who was bullied, which is probably every mom ever, because even if your kid wasn't like bullied relentlessly, you probably had a situation where like you were at the park one day and some kid was mean to your kid, and your initial like primal and see people always think motherhood nurturing and sweet and soft, and it is those things, but there is a primal beast inside every mother that when you perceive your child was wronged, that beast just wants to come out and tear their head off. But when it's a 5-year-old kid, you can't just go tear their head off. Well, I mean, you can't really do that anyway. I mean, you can go to prison, but Norma wants to. You can't. You know? But so she's very torn because her daughter is not a person who likes violence. Like to hurt another person, even in self-defense, would make her upset. And Norma loves that about her daughter, but she knows the bullying's not going to stop if her daughter doesn't do something because she can't do anything. So she's very torn, and I think that is a theme for any mom. And I think we've all been in that position where it's like, is what I'm telling my child helping them or hurting them? You know, like, am I
Yeah.
traumatizing my child or am I helping my child? Like, motherhood is such a gray thing sometimes.
Yeah. So one of the sections I had the hardest time writing, and it's not for any deep, profound reason. I wrote pretty much mostly independently. We obviously discussed over the phone as I was writing it because I needed so much help. Deadpan Dominica.
Oh, you had a hard time with
I
Dominica.
I have such a hard time writing Dominica because Dominica's character is based on my sister,
Yes,
and my sister and I are so different
very different.
that I have a hard time like trying to see things the way my sister would see them because we're just so completely different people.
Yeah.
That chapter was one I struggled through. It took me way longer than it should have for the fact that it's like an 8 or 9 page chapter
I
and
did
there's
help you
not
with
that
that one
much
though after
text.
you were done.
You did. So the first iteration of that chapter was very much like, and this happened, and this happened, and that happened. And honestly, I've always loved creative writing, but that's always been my problem. It's the way I write can be pretty methodical, where I know exactly what needs to happen next, 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 done. And it can kind of come across really flat and very short because I have point A, I have point B, I know how to get there, we're getting there fast. There's no detours, no
Yeah,
breaks.
but I mean, I kind of write like that too.
You kind of do too. I
And
think,
then you flower it up. So it's like when you do that, I just flower it up for you. So it's really weird. We both have the capacity to do that, just not with our own writing.
right, which is something that's worked really well.
Weird.
So, like, just recently I did a writing prompt that somebody posted on Facebook.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you.
It was
So, we're
awesome.
probably going to make that into a full novel. It might just be a standalone,
Yeah,
but
because I just thought of something really cool for that we probably need to write down before I forget.
yes. So that's probably going to end up being a standalone book because it just was such a good like initial bit. But I wrote essentially what amounted to what like 3 paragraphs,
Hmm.
and then went, I don't know what else to do with this. That's good enough. And that's what ends up happening when I try to
Right,
write
but
like a
we came
short
up with a
story.
story in like what, 5 minutes?
Yeah, we came up with like a whole story. I think it's going to be so good.
It's gonna be a good book.
I hope
I'm
we get
excited
that
for
one
it.
done, and I think it's going to be good.
I'm excited for
Um,
that one.
Yeah, I think for the cover picture for that one, I think I'm gonna just see if I can find my Lucia dress. Or
Oh.
find a dress like the Lucia dress.
Don't we have like a clip of you singing the Lucia?
We do have a clip of me singing the Lucia, but
Can't
I
we
want to do
just
like the actual Lucia costume.
can't we do you in the Lucia costume?
Yes,
Don't
but
we
there's
have a
no.
clip of you in the Lucia costume? Your hair was blue, but
My hair was blue, but there's no blood on it.
we could add blood to the cover.
Yeah. So that's like a huge tangent that has nothing to do with Motherhood's a Bloodsport, but
But
we
that's our
kind of
process.
we kind of went down this rabbit hole. So Motherhood's a Bloodsport ended up becoming something that we have 5 books planned for.
Yes.
And then we had what, like 4 more planned, 3 or 4
I thought
for
we were so we were doing the accidental the lonely woman's craft
Lonely Ladies Craft Club. All
club.
that.
Because this is going to be the town series, right?
Yeah, the town series. We haven't totally fleshed out the series name. I like Tales from a Creepy Town, but I don't
I
know if
like Tales from a
it's.
Creepy Town. That's cool.
I don't know if that's available for us to use as a series title. Like, there might already be a series that exists with that name. I'm gonna have to look
Then
into
it'll
that.
be Tales from the Creepy Village.
Basically, all of the stories happen in the same place, but they're not necessarily
Right,
like
they're standalone stories.
chronological. They're standalone stories within the same town.
Yeah, it
And
would be
it,
like watching The Twilight Zone.
yeah, and it's paranormal comedy, kind of like The Twilight Zone.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
because we have the roommate.
Lonely Ladies Craft Club.
Yeah, I don't remember
We've
what we were calling the ghosty
Creepy
one.
House one. We've got the Lonely Ladies Craft Club. The one is like something.
I think that the creepy house should be That House Bites.
Yeah, that house bites. It's about some kids playing out by a creepy house or in a creepy house. There's one about a medium who really doesn't want to be a medium. I
Yeah,
think we were calling
accidental.
that one like Not Another Spirit or something. Not another one. I don't know. Something like
I think
that.
we were calling it. Shit, I don't even remember. See, that's why we have to write stuff down, but we'll come up with something cool for that. So I know we were going
Yeah.
to do those three for sure, but we toyed with shape-shifting wombats.
Shifting wombats. Um,
I mean, I
I
don't know that they
toyed
would be wombats, but we got stupid with it because we were eating dinner.
I toyed with a displaced Kelpie
Oh, I
because
like that.
there's absolutely no reason for a Kelpie to be in a Midwestern town in America, but he ends up stuck there because he has to do normal human shit, and he's got like a pond that he can Kelpie around. it's it's gonna be paranormal comedy, so they're a little ridiculous for the ideas,
Yeah, they're
but
going to be
the whole
ridiculous,
goal is
but
like
it's there's fun, something fun to read. That's
something fun to read, hopefully something fun to write.
we have fun talking about it anyway.
We have fun talking about it. We don't always have the best time writing. Um, One thing we did really intentionally with this book, and it's going to look a little different in the new print version, but we left the line spacing at 1.5, so it's a very easy read. It's easy to keep track of where you are in the book. There's not a ton of text per page, and the chapters are short. There's like a lot of chapters. I think when we counted them finally, it was like 33 chapters.
Right,
So
but
there's a lot of chapters,
we
but the
do try
chapters
to
are like
keep
10
yeah, we try
pages.
to keep the chapters to 10 pages. Sometimes they're a little bit longer, but it's definitely we did that on purpose. Uh, Moms are busy. Like I said, it doesn't just appeal to moms, but the main character is a mom, so I think that would probably be the biggest people it would appeal to as moms because you would understand. I think, like I said, I think it would appeal to any woman because there are characters in the book that there is some character somewhere in the book that anybody could relate to, even if you don't necessarily relate to Norma. Um, but moms are busy, and it's good because you could read a chapter. Like if you've only got 10 or 15 minutes to read, you could read a chapter, and it's a good place to stop and pick it up
Yeah,
later.
there's a couple of chapters, I think, that leave a little bit of like a cliffhanger or the situation's not totally resolved,
Right.
but it gives you a pretty clear stopping point before what happens next. So you're never going to be sitting there and be like, "Oh my gosh, I have no idea where I left off or what's going on next." Like there's pretty clear stopping points.
Right. And
And the
we
idea
didn't.
was a weekend read.
Right. Definitely. And we didn't, or nap time reads. So your kids are taking a
Nap
nap, and
time
you've
reads.
got an hour, 30 minutes or whatever. You could read a good chunk of the book in that time. Um, we did that on purpose. We also didn't make it a whole bunch of rhetoric and words that you're not going to know. Like,
And some of the words you might not know actually get defined in the story
right,
as part of the
we're not
story.
trying to make it some hoity-toity F-face crap that you know we, that you have to have a PhD to friggin' read. Like I did take rhetoric in school, so I can say basically nothing with like a whole bunch of $1 million words if I wanted to, but why would I want to do that? I want people to enjoy it and not have to like sit there with a thesaurus trying to figure out what the hell I'm talking about. So we tried not to do that. Just common normal language.
Well, and one of the things that kind of was my motivation to want to do shorter chapters was since becoming a mom, I don't have time to sit down with a novel. Usually that's going to take me a long time to read one chapter. So I've gotten really into reading webtoon comics because they're short. You can read a webtoon comic in 5 minutes or less sometimes. So the chapters are more meat than a webtoon comic if you're into webtoon. But it's still something you could do in those small little nuggets of time where you just want to be able to read a chapter. And if you don't have time, you don't have to keep reading. Um,
Yeah,
so,
so we did do that on purpose. We kept the print larger and the spacing more just to make it easier on your eyes. Because I'm getting old and I don't want to pick up a book with little tiny words where there's like 9,000 friggin' words on a page. Like it freaks me out. Like I open it and it, like, I'm like, oh, too overwhelming. No, we want
well,
this to be enjoyable. It is a heavy book. It is dark in a lot of places, but we wanted it to be enjoyable and not feel like a project.